I want to start by saying you're amazing. All of you are. You know why? Because you're here to learn and develop. And this is something that I really admire and I believe is truly amazing. But you're also in danger. Yes, the majority of you are in real danger. Allow me to explain. Please raise your hand if you are an employee and this is your main and only source of income. Also, please raise your hand if you're a professional, as in you're a doctor or a lawyer, and this is your main source of income. Raise your hand if you are a business owner, and that's your main source of income. And finally, please raise your hand if you're a dependent, as in you depend on someone to spend on you, your partner, your parents, to spend on you. You see, 92% of the world's population depend on a single source of income. And this is a very dangerous position to be in. But I have a confession. I used to be like that as well, many years ago, until I was faced with a very harsh experience, one that shook my core. It opened my eyes. I remember that day, I looked at myself in a mirror and I said these exact words. I said, shame on me. Have you ever experienced a situation that was really tough, that made you relook at your entire life, reconsider everything? You see, situations like this can either break you or make you. I was very lucky that I went through a journey that actually put me in a very good path. But let me help you understand what I mean within the context of my talk. I want you to imagine, for the people who raised their hands, I want you to imagine what would happen if you lose your job, your profession, or your business, let's say because of AI, because of fierce competition, because of a pandemic, a financial, geopolitical crisis, or God forbid, if you or the person that provides for you got diagnosed with a critical illness or passed away. What would happen to you, and more importantly, to the ones that you care for and provide for? Understanding and realizing that you are in a vulnerable position and you want to change that is actually a very good thing. It's actually the first step towards freedom and happiness. And I'm going to share with you today the journey I went through. I call it the wealth escalator, and I have used it. It's made of 6 steps or stages that I have used to help thousands, tens of thousands of people to achieve financial freedom. But first, I have to share with you the story that changed me. They say bad decisions make good stories, and mine was a fantastic one. It all started around 25 years ago. I was young, very ambitious, but most importantly, I was so eager to be free, financially free. And I asked myself this exact question: what is my number? What is the number that could set me free or set you free, right? Back then, that number was 8,000 dirhams. And then I had to come up with a strategy. I thought, what am I going to do to achieve 8,000 dirhams every month? And the best solution I could come up with was getting a job. So I applied, and finally I got a job in a very good company. And guess what? My offer letter read 8,000 dirhams. I was so happy. Yes, wow. But guess what? It was short-lived because human nature kicked in. You see, when people tend to get money, the first thing they do is they upgrade their lifestyle. And that's what happened. So my 8,000 dirhams was not enough anymore to keep me free. I had to sit again with myself and come up with a new number. My new number back then was 10,000 dirhams. And again, I was already having a job. So I thought, what can I do to achieve that small jump? I had to work really hard to get that number. And that's what I did. And slowly but surely, I got it. I got 10,000 dirhams. But again, it was short-lived. So I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I remember sitting with myself and thinking and aiming really high. My new number was 25,000 dirhams. Big jump. And to achieve it, I was already in a job that I was working really hard in. So I had to come up with a new strategy. I had to work really longer hours. I remember I had to please every client, kiss up to all my bosses. I was every employer's dream employee. And slowly but surely, months later, I received an envelope with a promotion for me. And when I opened that envelope, my eyes grew from happiness because it read 25,000 dirhams. I was so happy until that same week, I got the news that changed my life forever. I discovered that I was going to become a father. I don't know how many of you are parents in the room, but you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. That feeling when you find out that you're going to become a father or a mother for the first time changes you forever. I remember I was so happy. I was overwhelmed. I had goosebumps head to toe. I was really excited, but I was also terrified. I was really scared because it's no longer my number. It's not just my number, it's now my family's number, my soon to be born daughter's number. I didn't know what to do. This time, I was already stretched too thin. So I had to seek advice. I thought very hard who could be the person who could help me fix this dilemma. I needed somebody who knew about money. In fact, I had only one person in my life who knew everything about money. That person used to also manage my own money. It was Ra'id, my banker. So I called him. I said, Ra'id, I really need your help. I'm going to become a father. He said, yes, I got you. Come over. I went there and he was ready, prepared. He opened a folder which had a very thick policy in it. And he said, just sign this policy. And it's basically you giving us a very big chunk of your number, a very big chunk. You give it to us every month on time. And after 21 years from now, we're going to give your daughter a lump sum amount that will help her in her life financially. I signed it immediately, and I left thinking, my problem is resolved. And I went back to working very hard. Many months later, I was in the office working very late, and an email popped up on my screen. It was a statement from the plan that I have signed for my daughter. But something was wrong. The bottom line didn't add up. It was only 30% of the amount that I've been taking every month from my own number and giving it to the bank. 70% were gone. I freaked out. And it was too late to call Ra'id. So the next day, I went to the branch. As soon as he saw me, I told him what happened. And he said, listen, man, I have to be honest with you. We just sell these policies. You need to speak to the company that actually manages this plan. So that's what I did. I went to the offices of that company. I remember walking in. I was received by two suits, very cold, professional. And it seemed like they knew what I was about to say. They were prepared. So they immediately told me, have you read the terms and the conditions of the policy you signed? I said, no, because I trust Ra'id, my friend. They said, basically this is a saving/investment plan, which means you could make money, but you could also lose a lot of money. And that's what you're experiencing right now. I told them, but what's going to happen after 21 years? What's going to happen to my daughter? They told me, we don't know. You have to wait and see. And then I asked them a question. I told them, what are my options? What if I want to stop? What happens if I get sick and I'm unable to pay anymore? They said, in that case, you will lose everything. I was speechless. I remember I stood up. I walked out of their offices into a very long, dark, cold corridor. I was feeling very heavy. I remember I reached to the elevator. As soon as I pressed the button of the elevator and the door was opened, and I saw my reflection, the mirrors there. And that was the moment when I said to myself these exact words. I said, shame on me. Shame on me. Not on Ra'id, not on this company. Shame on me for putting myself in that position and also putting my daughter and family in that same position. That's how I looked. You see, that was a moment of realization. That was the moment that changed me. I decided, and I promised myself that day, that I will take a new route. I will become a new person. I wanted to become a better version, the best version I could be, not just for myself, but also for my daughter and my family. So I went through a total journey of transformation. I read every single book that had the title Wealth Management, Financial Freedom, Investment. I went the academic route. I started my own businesses, and then I started investing in real estate. And after that, I looked at myself. I looked at my experience, knowledge, the skills I have, all the tools that I have in my life. And I decided purposefully to transform them into sources of income. I learned how to monetize everything that is related to me. And here I am today standing before you, a better man, a free man, but more importantly, a better father with more than 90 lucrative sources of income. And this is what I want to do for you today. I want to share with you the wealth escalator stages so that we can ride it together. I want to help as many people as I can. This is my new purpose. I want to help as many people as I can to achieve financial freedom. So, the first step, I need you to promise that you will start immediately, because procrastination is your worst enemy in anything in life, right? You have to commit that you want to change. You have to admit and be ready to make action immediately. The second step, you have to get money smart. Don't depend on a ra'id, on your banker. Don't depend on anybody to help you invest. You have the tools, you have the means to learn by yourselves. And third, you need to change your mindset. You see, the majority of the world's population are either spenders or savers. We need to become investors. And how do you achieve that? You need to start with small amounts. Turn it into a habit. Think about it. If every month you start investing, even a small amount, every single month, after months pass by or after a year, you will see that you will change. Your DNA will change from a spender or a saver into an investor. And then you need to choose wisely. Please choose the right assets. Don't invest or spend your money on depreciating assets. Your luxury cars and luxury products are nice to have, but they are really liabilities disguised as assets. Don't also invest only in capital gain assets, because they will not give you cash flow. What you need to invest in is income producing assets. Dividend stocks, bonds, businesses. Look at yourself, your knowledge, digital assets that you can create. You can all create a workshop or publish a book that you can sell, and that becomes a source of income. Or you can decide to change your social media and monetize it and make it a source of income instead of a tool to waste time on. And then you need to nurture your income and your assets, because there is no such thing as passive income. That's a myth. Anything you own, any asset you own, requires management and requires your effort to develop it and grow it. And finally, you need to apply the law of compounding, as in take your gains, take your returns and reinvest them so that they snowball, and you can then maximize and multiply your sources of income. They often ask, if you have the chance to go back in time and meet your younger version, what advice would you give yourself? I have a different question for you. I want to ask each and every one of you, if you face yourself many years from now, when you're 70, 80 years old, and you look yourself in a mirror, what are you going to say to yourself? Are you going to say, shame on me? Shame on me because I learned about the wealth escalator and the need that I need to multiply my sources of income, but I didn't do anything about it? Or you're going to say, yes, I've made it. I have actually multiplied my sources of income and I feel free. And more importantly, I have left for my beloved ones multiple sources of income that will also set them free. I'm going to end with a ritual that I usually do, and I would love to share it with you. I believe it's going to give you an amazing boost of energy. I call it the Wealth Escalator Oath. So if you are willing and able, please repeat after me. I promise that I will add one more source of income within the next 30 days, and I will see it through. You are amazing, all of you, truly amazing, and you all deserve to be financially free. Thank you.